Welcome to the Strange Take, where we give you the strange take on whatever we're talking about. You know, today we're coming up to spring break, and all the gold shows on TV are wrapping up, right? And we've been watching them all summer or winter long, right? And what do you guys think about this gold mining? There's nothing more I'd love to do than spend my day playing in big machinery and digging dirt, washing rocks, finding the gold, right? I tell ya. What about these, gold shows, right? They pepper the pans. Yeah, maybe, right? Does the production company have a whole lot full of spare parts and extra equipment from, these miners are in a gem, right? But, we've talked about what is the value of gold, right? Right now, gold's worth a lot, but, if it was the end of the world, it was post-apocalyptic. What does some metal mean, right? It's only if we give it a value, right? But I think if it was coming down to the last cans of food, I think gold would have very little value, right? But isn't it a beautiful metal, right? Gold, it conducts energy. I bet UFOs are probably made out of gold, right? It's the best energy conductor, right? And all the computers, when they need to really run the power through certain areas, that's where you'll find the gold, right? And then, of course, there's jewelry. I think the biggest gold necklace I ever saw was on Coming to America, the first one, right? Don't even think that was real gold. There's these guys on these rappers now with unbelievable gold chains. I mean, they make Mr. T look like, everybody remember Mr. T, right? He probably wore an entire summer's worth of gold around his neck, And he's a smart man. That stuff's worth a lot. Yeah. Give you some back pain, though. Trucking that gold around your neck all the time. And he wasn't the tallest guy either, right? Mr. T, right? But yeah, gold mining, right? We watch on TV and they're mining the great Canadian North and Alaska and the States and some beautiful country down in the States, right? And then how about the, jungle gold, right? Oh boy, what a mess that is. And now there's these, I don't even know, what nationality they are, but they're on these islands with volcanic rock, and all you see is this chick in yoga pants bent over in a dirt hole, and she's pulling out nuggets the size of my fist, right? Yeah, it's like a volcanic gold. And I mean, they just come out of there like these huge nuggets, like retirement. These people pull their retirement out of the ground. I mean, we're talking like, they did show these two girls walking with the guy, and they're all wearing, the newest, coolest yoga stuff, right? But the guy had a machine gun on his back, right? And I would too. You're looking at, these people are holding a couple softball and baseball and puck-sized nuggets, right? I mean, that's a lot of money right there, right? And it has a strange take, and I think this kind of gold mining where they just kind of burrow these holes using their metal detectors, and they just bury these little holes in the side of the ground, and they pull out these great big nuggets. Actually, the only other place, in my knowledge where this is still happening is in Australia, right? These metal detectors, and they just reach down, they pull out like a boomerang-sized gold nugget, pretty fucking amazing, right? I mean, can you imagine, you're out hiking out in the bush somewhere, and you kind of just see this old, creek, and it looks like maybe a couple 100 years ago it it was a bigger creek and now it's gotten smaller, and you took a shovel and dug a bit and you pulled half your retirement out of the ground. Just like that, right? It's like so heavy you can hardly carry it back. Right? And then if you do get all that gold home, then you're freaking out thinking, how do I sell it? What do I do with it? Right? Oh, you can sell it. Oh boy, you can. You have to pay a 5% tax to the government on whatever you sell it for, right? But you get big nuggets like that, collectors buy them for double the value. So if you found like a 50-ounce nugget, they're going to pay you for 100 ounces of gold, right? Just because it's a nugget, it's a collector, But yeah, I tell you, I've watched these guys on the show, and it's all about gas and machines and teamwork, and, it's a little bit of scripted drama, of course, right? But, they always come through in the end, right? Meet their goals and, rack in some cash, right? It's like the young fella Parker on the gold rush, Gee whiz, like that young fella's something else. But at the same time, it's not much different than managing, a big area, right? And there's lots of young people managing giant parking lots and grocery stores and big box stores. You get these, 25-year-old, and he's, or she is, or he, she, whatever it might be, right? And they're running that, and they're doing a great job, And if they're not, then nobody's shopping there, and they go out of business or they get somebody else, right? So, but in the end, it's a lot of managing skills and a lot of dedication. Now, it kind of makes you wonder, like we'll just say with the Parker bunch, the group there on Gold Rush, how much does this two foreman make, right? Pulled in $16 million this season, and those guys should be seeing at least a $300K paycheck, and that's not bad. That's like 2 years worth of, high-end, above middle class income, right? So you do that for 10 years, it'd be worth 30 years of working at $100K a year, on average, right? It's not bad for, a single working person, but maybe they do more than that, right? Maybe they're getting a cool mill each, right? Fuck, you got $1 million, all of a sudden it's like 6 months goes by, it's like, let's get back to work. You're like, oh man, I've only spent like 20 grand of my money, I got some fun to go have here, right? But no, they get back down there, and then they get paid money to be on the show too, right? So you got to be making a fair little paycheck there. Then there's the river dredging. They get down in the water and they dredge in the river. And then there's the most dangerous, if you ask me, and that's like the show Bering Sea Gold, right? They go down there in those swimsuits and relying on dirty old generators to pump the oxygen and the heat down to them, and Jesus, a lot of people have died doing that too, so it's no joke, right? Deep sea, or not even, but just Bering Sea Gold, being under the water, relying on, some very unstable people usually to operate all your equipment and keep you alive down there. Oh, yeah, I tell you. And then, of course, my favorite is this volcanic gold, where they're just running metal detectors along this banks of, volcanic dirt, and they dig a little hole like a rabbit, and they reach in there and they pull this great big fucking nugget. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's fixed, but no, it's a real thing. People are pulling retirement, so they go there for a weekend and spend 2 solid days digging in the mud and letting the bugs at them, but they're coming out with $200,000-$300,000 in gold, right? And they're not selling it in that country for what they're offering. They're sending it home and then they're selling it. Right? North American or European markets, right? China and India actually own the most rights to gold. We don't really know who has the most gold. But, what's a ticket that says, so every time they're pulling gold out of the ground, when they're actually giving bulk raw gold, it's being paid for. It's already being paid for. So they're just shipping it to these countries because they're owed that amount of gold, right? So, kind of cool. What a world, huh? It's like, there's so many different, possibilities and, dreams that can be made out of getting on your hands and knees. And, I've seen people down the riverbank there, and they're shoveling away and panning. And I don't think panning's a great way to make money with gold, but if you find a hot spot and you're getting some little, nuggets, then it could definitely be worth it, right? But those days of just reaching in the river and pulling out a handful of gold, well, they're gone, right? That's old gold, It's already been through the markets, recycled numerous times. But, how about that? Like, who has the most gold? Well, we know the Vatican, right? They got a lot of gold, man. A lot of statues, gold-plated this, gold-made statues and rooftops. And, Jesus. And is the Dome of the Rock, right, for the Muslims, is that gold, or is it gold-plated, or is it just look like it's made out of gold, right? You think a lot of lightning strikes would hit it if it was gold. I'd be like, psh, psh. Oh, fuck yeah, look at this great big, metal satellite on the ground here. I can electrocute if you're a storm, right? Anyways, we're getting crazy. But yeah, so, interesting, if you ever gotten out there and dug a little dirt and washed a little rock and seen what was in the pan, it's definitely a good workout, and it's, squatting a lot, and that's a great exercise, especially if you're chunky in the hips, right? Getting squatting down there and stretching the body out, But anyways, it's a weird world, right? There's how we're showing how gold's gotten, and, and then there's, you go out and try it yourself, right? Lots of people have lost their homes, and lots of people bought another home. So, lots of yin to the yang to the yin, bing to the bang, bada to the bing, right? So, something interesting, And a strange take on it really just is all the different kinds of methods, people are using, and how successful some people are. It's all about, your environment, where you are, right? Obviously, if you can just dig out huge nuggets, well, you want to be somewhere where there's volcanoes, right? Pushing the gold up out of the earth, or you want to be in like Australia where just great big boomerang chunks of gold have been left. But, either way, right? You can have a big industry using lots of gas, leaving a big carbon footprint, but, getting with a team and all those like really fun things, and there's nothing like, hey, I just pulled out, $16 million worth of gold. I'm going to have a cigar and a whiskey, right? Or a cup of coffee or wine or juice or whatever it is, right? So, yeah, no wonder, could there be gold right in your own backyard? Well, chances are no, unless someone dropped some jewelry there a long time ago. But, you can use the metal detector at the local park. You want to hit those, where there's sports being played. People are losing their necklaces and their fucking rings and whatever else, right? Not a little luck here and there, but most of the time you're just going to find bottle caps and pennies. But, you never know. You could pull that $5,000 engagement ring out of the ground and be like, holy shit, right? Taking the family to Mexico. You never know, right? Or, somebody's been looking for it and you find it and you give it back. What a great feeling that is too, right? It's not a trip to Mexico, but, maybe somebody busts out in tears and being so grateful that you found it and returned it, So, yeah, the funky world of gold, power, electricity, fanciness, status, and what's it worth in an apocalyptic scenario? But anyways, just some things to think about when it comes to that crazy thing we call gold and the fever that people get while they're looking for it. Anyways, everybody, that's a strange take. Having a strange take on gold today. You take care. Bye.